Hi, welcome to Module 1. My name is Gasper and I'm Developer Relations Lead at Oasis Network. In this module, I will introduce you the Oasis Network architecture, the paradigms that we built, and also how we compare to other chains so you will see how we fit in the blockchain world. So let me begin with the Oasis Network architecture. We are a layer 1 blockchain with privacy built in. We also built another use cases on so-called paradigms. So let me explain. We have a separated, isolated consensus layer, which means that we don't run smart contracts and all these functionalities from EVM chains and so on consensus layer, but we're keeping it simple, robust, secure, and scalable. That's why we built paradigms. Those paradigms are actually parallel runtimes where we have specific functionalities. For example, privacy built-in computations. We have, for example, EVM support, right? And we also have, if you want to have some data with privacy and let's say encrypted functionalities, you can also use Parcel Paradigm or Parcel SDK. So essentially these paradigms, they don't own their own consensus layer, but they share the same consensus layer, which means that we have great scalability. And if you compare them, they are totally independent and they do not affect each other. Okay, so they have their own parameters, their own purpose, and they do not affect each other. So they're isolated from each other. Okay, so that's pretty cool. That's how we can ensure really high throughput, high scalability, and a lot of use cases. Keep in mind that those paradigms were built by Oasis team. If you're a developer, if you have a team and you want to build a paradigm, you have all the possibilities. You can use our Oasis SDK and our other SDKs that we are offering, and you can build your own paradigm. So that's pretty awesome because community can build whatever they need. So I like that. Now, if you want to compare our network, it's very scalable, right? With privacy built in. So we always think about security and how we will ensure this, let's say, privacy. Okay. So if we talk about consensus, we have this 6-second average block time. Compared to other chains, you see we're on the lower side. But in reality, also what matters is this finality, right? So when you send something, let's say rows, to another site, you don't need a lot of confirmations and so on, but you get instant your, let's say, rows from one address to another. So we have proof of stake protocol. We actually stake rows to have a secure network. We don't have this proof of work like Ethereum has or like Bitcoin has. Now, keep in mind that we're the only one here with fully integrated confidentiality support. We will more talk about that on Cypher Paradigm and also another product that we're building, and it will be released very soon. It's actually confidential EVM chain. And if you take a look about the scalability, we have very, very nice transaction per second throughput. So it's up to 1,000 transactions per second. And now, if you multiply that, so with all the paradigms that we can have, you get really high numbers, right? So if you imagine 1,000 paradigms, right, isolated blockchains below or let's say above the consensus layer, and that each can have 1,000 transactions per second, that gets crazy, right? So it's awesome. Now, we also have smart contracts, right? We can have Solidity smart contracts on EVM supported blockchain, which is Emerald. And we also have smart contracts, let's say, written in Rust. So we also support WASM, right? So you can have this confidentiality with smart contracts, which were built on Cypher Paradigm. We will also mention that a bit later on. And yes, We have options for permissionless or permissioned configuration if you want, but by default, of course, we're permissionless. Keep in mind that we're public blockchain, so all the transactions can be always inspected or viewed on block explorers. Okay, let me jump into the Emerald pair time. So some parameters and some features that Emerald offers. First of all, it's fully EVM compatible. You can imagine that if you have a project built on Ethereum, you can simply migrate everything to our EVM compatible blockchain called Emerald. Now, how you benefit? You benefit with very low cost for transactions. You benefit with very fast and much faster, right, transactions than on Ethereum. So we have the block time same as consensus, right? So this is 6 seconds, right? And the scalability, you know now why it's so high with increased throughput, right? Because we have these isolations of, let's say, layer 2 or layer 1.5 pair time compared to the consensus layer. Now, currently we're running more than 56 Oasis nodes for Emerald, and we are always using ROSE as our native token that runs the blockchain. All right, so let's see how you can use it. So you can use existing tools like Hardhat, Truffle, Remix to build your own or favorite smart contracts and deploy things like, solutions for DeFi, dApps, like DEXs, like NFT marketplaces, DeFi gaming, or you can call it GameFi, oracles and stuff like that. So it's really useful and it has many benefits compared to other chains. Now, Cypher pair time was built with a different purpose. It was built with full privacy and confidential support. Okay? Now, smart contracts are always written in Rust here, and they are compiled to WebAssembly. And they have these private transactions and private states. So whatever you actually want to compute, you have the privacy ensured, because we have this trusted execution environment, or TEE, on the blockchain. So basically, we are the first blockchain offering that, which is done inside Intel SGX enclaves. Okay, which means that we have really robust security here. So no other option than, physically removing some hardware from processors, from motherboard and so on, right? So that's really awesome. Now, scalability is also ensured through high transaction throughput, because you've seen that we have consensus layer separated, and again we have the same, usually it should be the same, like 6 seconds average block time, and we're also running the decentralized network by more than 43 Oasis nodes already. And also here we're using the ROSE as a native token. So again, for confidentiality, use Cypher pair time. Smart contracts are already live on testnet and also on mainnet. Parcel pair time. Basically, it's an SDK if you want to use your data with responsible manner, right? So you want to protect or maybe isolate some sensitive data from other data that you own. And if you want to have some kind of a data management, how and which data is allowed to be used or shared, you have this opportunity inside the Parcel SDK. So you can have, for example, some data managers who can control access to sensitive data. You can also analyze data even if they're encrypted, so the data can be pulled and analyzed without even sharing the raw data. So that's amazing. And all the transactions that operate on sensitive data are typically maintained in an immutable ledger if you have some audits and if you want to have some verifications and so on, right? So yeah, Parcel Paradigm is more focused on, let's say, documents with privacy, right? So you can have this encrypted data. While if you compare that to Cypher, you have smart contracts on chain and you can do things on chain with encryption. So thank you for being with me in first module, and we see you in the next one.